Welcome to A Slice with Dice, a place for honest conversations about the realities of education. I'm Corey Alderdice, Executive Director of the Arkansas School for Mathematics, Sciences, and the Arts. I've spent nearly 2 decades navigating the joys, challenges, and unexpected moments that come with leading schools. Each week, I'll share what works, what doesn't, and everything in between when it comes to igniting the full potential of our communities. I'm excited to share this journey with you. So let's get started. We're diving into topics that are on the minds of thousands of high school students and their families across the country, as noted in the 2025 College Hopes and Worries Survey, freshly released this month by the Princeton Review. Every year, the survey offers a revealing look at the mindset of students as they approach the college admissions process. And the timing is great for this conversation. Just last week, I kicked off our college planning unit with juniors at ASMSA. It's an interesting time of the year in that as seniors get their final decisions and make their choices, juniors are just beginning the process in earnest. So let's unpack some of this year's most interesting insights. One question that always captures attention asks students about their dream college, a place they'd attend if either acceptance or finances, or both, if we're being honest, weren't barriers. This year, students overwhelmingly named some heavy hitters. MIT topped their dream list, closely followed by Harvard, Stanford, and Princeton. It's clear the allure of prestigious institutions remains strong, and that hasn't changed much over the years. But it is worth noting, while the Ivies and top-tier tech schools dominate, public flagship universities like the University of Michigan and UCLA also earned top spots, highlighting a blend of tradition and accessibility in student aspirations. Now, moving past dreams into reality, students shared that applying to college isn't just an exciting milestone. Well, it's incredibly stressful. Nearly 3/4 of students said their stress level was high or very high. It's striking to see how stress levels have crept up steadily since the survey began back in 2003. Back then, just over half of students reported high stress. Today, that figure stands at a staggering 74%. Clearly, the pressure around admissions has intensified with competition, expectations, and the complexity of the process itself all playing a role. Now, speaking of stress, what's keeping students awake at night? Well, the top worry isn't just about getting into their first school of choice anymore. Instead, it's the looming specter of debt. Don't forget that total college debt now stands at $2 trillion. And about 39% of students said their biggest concern was how much debt they'd incur to finance their degree. Now, this marks a significant shift from 2003 when only 6% felt this was their major concern, a more than 6-fold increase. Back then, more than half of students worried mainly about acceptance letters. Now, the financial burden of college overshadows even the fear of rejection. And so given these financial worries, it's not surprising that financial aid is vital for many students. Nearly half said that financial aid was extremely necessary for their college plans. Another third labeled it as very necessary. When almost every student is saying that financial aid is critical, it's clear affordability isn't just a bonus. It is an outright requirement. Now let's talk about tests. The survey reveals an interesting shift in attitudes toward standardized testing, which does remain a key part of the admissions process. Even with many schools going test optional amid the pandemic, 92% of students still planned to take either the SAT, ACT, or both. Interestingly, students were optimistic about the move to digital formats for the exams, with 2/3 feeling very or extremely prepared for this new format. And while there might be initial apprehension about digital testing, most students are ready and even welcoming to the change. Another intriguing insight from students came from their views on college choice and the factors that ultimately influence their decision. the number one priority wasn't necessarily the school's prestige or reputation. Instead, it was about finding the best overall fit, where they could imagine thriving personally, academically, and socially. And close behind that was choosing a college that aligns best with their intended career paths. Students today are thinking pragmatically about their futures, looking for colleges that don't just offer a degree, but also support their long-term professional goals. And finally, a newer question on the survey taps into the hot topic of artificial intelligence. How do students feel about the rise of AI tools in college admissions? Well, it turns out they're mostly cautious but optimistic. Over half express mixed feelings, recognizing both the opportunities and risk that AI presents. Students seem to understand that while AI tools can streamline and maybe even enhance their applications, there's also an undercurrent of concern about fairness, authenticity, and transparency. All right, so what do all these findings tell us? Well, students today are incredibly pragmatic. They're aspirational, yet realistic, balancing their dreams against economic realities, grappling with stress, but still hopeful about technological advances. So as we wrap our look at the Princeton Review's 2025 College Hopes and Worries survey, it's clear that students are more thoughtful, intentional, and pragmatic than ever before. Yes, they face challenges, financial worries, new testing formats, and big decisions about their future, but through it all, they're guided by optimism and a clear vision of what matters most, finding the right place to grow, to learn, and to thrive. Despite concerns about debt and the complexity of college applications, students still overwhelmingly see higher education as a pathway to opportunity, new experiences, and meaningful connections. They're willing to embrace change, navigate the world of financial aid, and search out institutions that align closely with their personal values, ambitions, and aspirations. And so what strikes me most, though, in all of this is their resilience. Today's students approach the hurdles of the college process not with resignation, but with remarkable determination. They understand that the journey to college and through college isn't meant to be easy, but they believe passionately that it's worth the effort. So for educators, counselors, and families, our role is to support these students every step of the way, reminding them that their dreams are both valid and attainable. Let's encourage them to keep dreaming boldly, planning wisely, and choosing bravely. After all, they're not just selecting a campus. They're setting the stage for a future full of possibilities. A Slice with Dice is a production of the Arkansas School for Mathematics, Sciences, and the Arts. I hope today's reflection sparked some thoughts for your own journey. If you enjoyed the episode, please subscribe, share, and leave a review. Let's keep learning and leading together. Until next time, keep striving for growth and excellence. Thanks for tuning in.